Police forces across England and Wales have finally admitted what we all suspected all along. They haven't got the faintest clue whether so-called non-crime hate incidents are actually doing anything whatsoever to prevent crime. For years, they've been justifying their existence as a means to spot community tensions and keep us safe. But when pushed, 14 out of 15 police forces in an FOI said they've done absolutely zero analysis on the data recorded. So is it time for police to scrap them all together and fight crime rather than monitor feelings? Well, joining me now to discuss this is Harry Miller, a founder of Fair Cop, a free speech campaign group who was prosecuted for a tweet that's offended. And Captain Miller, you're the guy that put this FOI in. Tell us what you discovered.
Well, what I discovered, we were lied to at the House of Lords. Lord Herbert and his sidekick, Tom Harding, told the House of Lords that there was plenty of analysis done between non-crime hate incidents and the prevention of crime. I said, no, there isn't. And they told me that I must stop lying to the House, that what I must do is stop spreading misinformation. They were absolutely certain that police forces carried out rigorous checks on non-crime hate incidents, and these were vital in the fight against hate crime. So, of course, what I did is I put in a bunch of FOIs, and quite predictably, it came back that police forces don't do any analysis whatsoever. So we used to call that telling the porky pie, and I've caught them with the pants down. I'll tell you what, Martin. I'll tell you what, there's not been a display of smoke and mirrors quite like this since the Wizard of Oz enticed Dorothy down that yellow brick road. It's all a load of absolute baloney. And I'll tell you what else, Martin. The College of Policing, they've got less heart than the Cowardly Lion, less brains than the old Scarecrow, and less wisdom, or whatever it is, less courage than the Tin Man. This lot need putting out to grass immediately, because I'll tell you what, if you're going to be a liar, if you're going to tell deception, if you're going to try and deceive the great British public, you've got to be a lot smarter than this lot. This lot made Comical Ali look really, really smart. I call Lord Herbert Comical Herbert because that's what he is. He's an absolute national joke.
And to carry on the Wizard of Oz metaphor, Harry Miller, you're the whirlwind that blew the entire roof off. And what are they going to do about this? I mean, you took them to one of the highest courts in the land trying to get non-crime hate incidents struck off as a method of law enforcement, and yet they still carry on.
It's a little bit like the discovery of penicillin, Martin. They've discovered something else for them. It's entirely by accident because they do nothing to prevent actual crime. But what they do, they're really, really good at, is causing and creating a chilling effect on free speech. It's a very, very easy and practical way, by the way, an unlawful way of keeping people's mouths shut on topical issues. What we have is a College of Policing who've got this system and where they can mark you out as a wrong-un because you've said the wrong thing. For instance, until last week, if you said that a man cannot change into a woman, you could be slapped with a non-crime hate incident, as I was. One of the things that I was investigated for was saying this: Sheffield women know the difference between lads and lasses. The College of Policing said that this was a hate crime and this was a precursor to me going on and committing genocide. Well, if I'm guilty of it, so is the Supreme Court. The College of Policing need to have a double dose of reality. Actually, they need to just shut themselves down. They need to apply common sense to themselves and go and do something else, something far more productive, because they are absolutely, utterly useless and hopeless.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private internet access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
And you know what? Since they brought in non-crime hate incidents as a means to combat hate crime, guess what? Hate crime's gone up. But they've never one time stopped and thought, I wonder if labelling people as racists and bigots and transphobes and all the rest of it has actually worsened the situation. Well, of course it's worsened the situation. When they came after me, they radicalised me. When they come after somebody else, they radicalise them. So, of course, hate crime and hate incidents going up. And I'll tell you what, it's right down at the fault of the College of Policing. And if they got a conscience at all, they'd quit.
Harry Miller, we have to leave you there. The founder of Faircop. Once again, you've had your Weetabix. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Harry Miller, thank you very much. Let's get to my panel now. Chop too sweet. Let's get straight to Nigel Nelson. What do you make of this? I mean, non-crime hate incidents were meant to be a good thing. Clearly, they're ineffective, they're stoking division, and they're not actually solving crime at all.
Well, but I blame the police for this. I mean, the whole point of non-crime hate incidents when they're introduced in 2014 was to monitor community tensions with a view to stopping serious crime.
Well, they haven't.
No, they haven't because the police, as this FOI has found out, won't analyse them. So there's no point collecting a load of data you don't analyse. Yes, they've gone over the top every so often, but there've been 133,000 of them since they were introduced. Out of those, a handful have come to our attention because the police have gone too far. In the majority of cases, they haven't. But it's useless if you don't collect the data and interpret what that data says.
Hold on. A handful that we've heard about. Another 130,000. They're not useless. They are useless. What I'm saying they are not crimes. They are not crimes. The police should be working on crimes, not non-crimes.
And we may be talking about something that's racist or...
Well, if it's racist, if it's properly racist, that is a crime.
It is. But
it's not
But it depends on what stage it becomes a crime.
At what stage... No, hold on. We have a criminal justice system. We have the law. If people are being questioned and their data being taken down by the police for things that are not criminal acts, what are the police doing it in the first place? Because they should not be doing so.
The point is to stop criminal acts. That's what it's designed.
They think they're living in some sci-fi universe.
That's what it was designed to do. But if they don't collect the material, if they don't collect the data to find out where tensions are within a community, it doesn't work.
You're saying that basically the police should be like MI5, double-checking against people, building up dossiers against individuals who aren't breaking the law. No, but might break the law in the future.
No,
that's ridiculous.
The whole point is to gather intelligence on the local communities they are policing.
Well, just go and pop into the shops and talk to the people.
Well, gentlemen,
that's what they used to do.
Gentlemen, we have to leave it there.
To discuss all this, I'm now joined by barrister and writer Stephen Barrett. Stephen, what's your initial reaction to this shocking story today? That on the one hand, the police are rolling out these Orwellian non-crime hate incidents, but at the same time, they're saying they don't know if they work.
Well, so I hope I don't look like I did, but I grew up in the 80s and I was a young gentleman who played all of these computer games that they said were going to turn us into mass murdering psychopaths, and they'd go on the telly and warn in a moral panic about these computer games that I don't want to disturb you, Dr. Goodwin, but I played them. And very sadly, I have not turned into a mass murdering psychopath, and I live a pretty normal peaceful and placid life. I've actually never hit anybody in my life, despite all of the hours I spent shooting people in various computer guises. It's just moral panic. These people they're not terribly clever. They don't really understand the cause of things. And it's taken hold at the root of the College of Policing in particular that hurty words and bad ideas will cause violence. They seem to ignore the fact that human beings have a remarkable capacity to inflict violence on each other, even when they are totally ethnically homogenous. When there's no difference between them, humans will find a difference. We'll always turn on the gingers if we can. It's just a complete inability by those in authority to understand what causes violence, what's the risk of crime, and to fight it properly. And instead, they've created a massively bloated bureaucracy. I mean, the one thing you should challenge Yvette Cooper on is if she says she's going to expand the definition of non-crime hate incidents, ask her how. Because I don't know how it could be bigger. It covers any alleged incident. So that's an incident that didn't happen. It involves any which is perceived by the alleged perpetrator to be motivated. I mean, you can't get this bigger. How is it bigger? How can you possibly have a bigger definition?
Stephen, if we put ourselves in the shoes of those who are supportive of non-crime hate incidents, for example, Yvette Cooper, they would say that these measures are crucial for combating hate, xenophobia, racism, the views that we've seen sometimes bubble to the surface at particular moments in British history, and that actually we need these measures in order to try and suppress some of the worst instincts of human beings. I mean, what would you say to that?
You suppress the worst instincts of human beings by bringing out the good, not by having some conflated bureaucracy and a Stasi-based thought police. Let's all go back to loving this country. I mean, so many of us do. A point I like to make is that we must be one of the most successful, multi-ethnic, multi-racial countries that there's ever been. We've been all getting along without any serious incidents. I know there were troubles in the 80s, and look, I'm not trying to pretend that we're perfect, but we've really got on an awful lot better than many multi-ethnic societies, and I just think we should be proud of our beautiful country. That's what we should do. The idea that a police officer turning up at your door to record an alleged incident that allegedly happened, that allegedly was perceived by hate, is going to achieve anything is just tosh. It's wasting police time. We don't need the College of Policing. They have these fantasy ideas, and we should go back to ministers being in charge of policing. And I like to point this out, that actually when Churchill was Home Secretary, he literally went on the front line during riots, and he would be there. So this idea that policing should somehow be away from politicians is nonsense. You bring the politicians in because the politicians are answerable to us. If you get rid of the politicians, the police won't be answerable to us anymore. And that's what's gone wrong on a fundamental level.